Warning, the following episode of the Rocket Review is going to get really nerdy really fast. So if you're not into a lot of technical language and whiskey nerdiness, you might want to back out now.
Hi, greetings and ulcerations. I'm Mike.
I'm Ed.
And we're in Milwaukee drinking more whiskey. This is the Rot Gut Review, Worst Whiskey Watch Wednesday. Yay.
Yeah. It's a follow-up Worst Whiskey Watch Wednesday.
Yeah. We're going to do something a little different.
Yeah.
We had an ultrasonically aged whiskey 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Something like that.
And, we're thinking we'd like to compare it against something that's been matured over time and see how it actually compares.
Right. Now, I want to say the whiskey that we had 2 weeks ago was Boone's Bourbon.
Right.
And I want this video to be something of an olive branch to Tyler Boone.
Uh-oh.
Because I think we might have offended him a little bit. Just a little bit.
Didn't mean to, sorry.
We didn't mean to.
No.
This, trust me, if Tyler, if you're watching this, we didn't mean anything personal by it. We don't mean to question your passion or your love for your brand or, you know, anything like that. This was just our opinion. Right? And if you guys love Tyler Boone for his music, awesome. And if you guys love Tyler Boone for his bourbon, awesome. Go buy some. Go buy some. In fact, I would encourage everyone, go out, try Boone's Bourbon for yourself, find it at a bar.
It's a uniquely made bourbon that,
If you're in California, South Carolina, Oklahoma, a couple others, I'll put it in the description. You can find bottles at your local liquor store. They also have delivery. I will put that link in the description.
We also have another ultrasonically aged bourbon.
Right.
What do we know about this one? Winchester.
So, the technology that Tyler Boone used for his bourbon is called TerraPure. And to be fair, he said we should research it a little more, and we did.
A little bit.
Now, TerraPure, the idea is that they're using ultrasonics and special filtering. It's a, what do you call it? It's their own technique. It's a proprietary technique. They don't really let out how exactly they're doing it because it's their own technique. They're not going to tell us how to do it.
It sounds cool.
But it sounds cool.
Yeah.
And the idea is that you're removing congeners that taste bad from the whiskey.
Okay.
And you're taking...
Congeners, boo.
Congeners. Well, here's the thing. Congeners are basically, after distillation, congeners are impurities in the liquor. Right? But they're also what gives liquor its flavor. So the difference between whiskey and vodka is that whiskey has congeners in it.
Right. Good ones.
Good ones.
Typically.
We've
had some bad ones.
So the idea is that this technology takes out bad congeners, okay, like methyl alcohol, isobutanol, some other stuff that doesn't taste good. And it takes fatty acids in the alcohol and turns them into esters.
Esters are good.
Commonly taste fruity.
Yeah.
Fruity
kind
and
of
nice, aromatic. Yeah. And that generally leads to a better whiskey.
What about the phenols?
Well, the phenols, I haven't found anything about that. And that's really my question. I reached out to the guys at TerraPure for a comment.
Yeah.
They never got back to us.
Boo.
Unfortunately. And so what I'm wondering is, how does it affect other congeners? Because if you're taking out these congeners that you think make things taste bad, how do you know you're not taking out congeners that also make it taste good?
Well, over time they
mesh
with others and
do
their funny thing.
Well, that's the point, is that these high alcohols that you're taking out of the whiskey, right? Over time in a barrel, those tend to mix with the fatty acids and the wood chemicals,
the sugars,
and the sugars, and
tannins,
all that, the tannins, the lactones, the vanillins.
Oh yeah.
And they tend to make flavors that taste better. So if you're taking these out of the whiskey rather than aging it longer, are you actually getting a comparable product? And that's what we're going to find out today.
And that's what they're trying to do.
That's what they're trying to do.
With the process and with multiple chemists and engineers and...
Right. Well, now, and the study I'm looking at here, the whole idea is they're taking out harsh tasting acids, turning them into pleasant tasting esters, is how they put it.
Okay.
That's their words, not mine.
But doesn't that happen in a barrel over time?
That would happen in a barrel over time. The whole idea of a fermentation is that you're trying to get yeast to make...
sugar?
Well, yeast takes sugar, makes alcohol.
Yeah.
But yeast also poots out all these little byproducts.
Yeah.
And some of them are good tasting, like esters and stuff like that. Some of them taste bad.
Right.
Like they taste acidic, or they taste... There's the high alcohols. The high alcohols generally don't taste that great.
Right.
But in a barrel, those high alcohols and those fatty acids and, you know, all the other chemicals tend to come together, and they take
coagulate.
Time, they oxidize, and they make better tasting stuff. So that's why, from a fermentation standpoint, you want to have a nice, long, easygoing fermentation that creates a nice balance of all these chemicals so that they mix together.
All right.
And make new stuff.
And now I got to interject here, because we've had whiskeys from Japan made with Mizunara oak, which are just amazing, and Oregon oak, fantastic. And then we've had bottles from Texas where they have tons of heat.
Right.
And that whole speeds up the process quite a bit. So where is the break even on this?
Well, I think what
I mean, smaller barrels.
The thing is that you gotta ask yourself is, am I getting more complexity from my whiskey, or am I just getting more oak?
Okay.
Or am I just getting more of one flavor?
Yeah, we've had some that are very oaky.
Very oaky. That's the thing. So just because a whiskey has been aged really long
doesn't
necessarily mean it's good.
Right.
Right? And just because they can get over oaked really, really easily. And now the thing is, if you have a really young whiskey, right?
How young?
Oh, okay. We're talking a year, 2 years, depending on the climate, right?
Okay. Most whiskey is aged at?
Well, a lot of whiskey's aged in Kentucky.
Yep.
Ireland, Scotland.
Yep.
Those are 3 of the really big ones. Tennessee, too. So, Kentucky's warmer.
Right.
So you don't have to age it quite as long.
Right.
Texas, even warmer. So it gets
quicker.
Really over-oaked really quickly. But point being...
Scotland, 12 years.
12
minimum.
years. Scotland's like 12 years, yeah.
Because it's cold.
Because it's cold.
And wet and dank.
Right, and that's the whole point. You need the whiskey, when it heats up, the whiskey gets pressed into the barrel. And when the whiskey, when it gets cold, it recedes from the barrel.
Okay, and it interacts with the charred barrel the entire time.
Right.
But not all of it at once.
Right.
So...
Well, but that's the thing. With a younger whiskey, you may get harsher stuff. You may get a lot more of those high alcohols, the harsh stuff. The alcohol bite's going to be a lot more noticeable, right? So my question really is if you take a young whiskey, and rather than giving those chemicals time to change and react into new things, you just take them out at the end. Are you just smoothing off the edges? Are you just removing the roughness? You're not really adding new flavor. Are you just kind of removing the more offensive flavors?
Okay, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Okay.
And we're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
Now,
we've got 4 different pours.
Yeah. Before we start that, though, I did want to talk a little bit about this because Tyler mentioned a couple of things that we wanted to look into. And we did our research. Because he was saying this isn't new technology. This has been around for a while.
Since 1934, it was patented.
Right. Well, not this process
not
exactly.
This exact
but people
process,
have been
ultrasonics.
People have been trying ultrasonics for a while. They've been trying new ways to improve
and speed
whiskey.
the process.
Right.
Which I understand. Why would one want to do that?
Well, because one, every year you age whiskey in a barrel, you're losing whiskey.
Oh, that's true.
Because the angels share. Because that's the whole point of a barrel is you need it to be able to breathe.
Right.
And some of it's going to evaporate
out
of the wood. Yep. 2, storage costs.
Oh, yeah.
If you got a big rickhouse full of barrels,
you're not making any money.
You're not making any money.
You're not selling anything.
You're not selling anything. You could have been selling a whole bunch of vodka in that time.
Oh, yeah.
And also taxes. Property taxes. I mean, you get taxed on your spirit. You get taxed on your everything, right?
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, if you can sell more spirit, quicker, then you have a lot less expenses.
Right. That makes sense.
Well, and here's the thing. Tyler told us that there are actually some pretty big brands using this. Now, this is what he claimed. He claimed Angel's Envy and Whistle Pig are both using ultrasonics. Now,
who knew?
Here's the thing. They aren't.
Oh.
We reached out to representatives of both Whistle Pig and Angel's Envy, and they confirmed that they not now and have never used ultrasonic technology to age their whiskey.
Wow. Okay.
Now, he also claimed MGP did it, and High West. We weren't able to get a hold of them. But I did reach out to Mitch Weddle over at Whiskey Wise. He's also the production manager at Heaven Hill Distillery.
Ah.
And I asked him, hey, Mitch, are any of the big guys using this technology? So that would include MGP, High West, whoever. He says no, nobody is.
So this is more of a craft distillery?
This is more of a small craft thing.
Okay, cool.
Which is fine. I know Cleveland Whiskey's using it. Obviously, local choice must be. There's Terra Pure themselves who are using it. If you're trying to innovate, that's great. That's why today we didn't want to judge this process based on one whiskey we didn't like. And in fact, we're going to give Boone's Bourbon a second chance.
Yay!
Now, I want to point something out that was also brought up in our conversations with Tyler Boone. He seems convinced that bourbon isn't a whiskey. It definitely is.
I thought it was.
I know, right? So we've got 4 bourbons here, and
I don't think that really matters.
But here's the thing,
I mean, you got ryes, you got scotches, you got bourbons.
But here's the thing, and if Tyler's like, oh, nobody's an expert on here, okay, we might not be experts, but that's okay. We went ahead and we found the class and type designations from the Tax and Trade Bureau, which is part of the ATF, which regulates all distilled spirits. And the first thing you see is a definition of class and type, right? So
I see that right there.
So the class is a broad category of distilled spirits.
Right.
Right? And the type is a specific type within that class.
Whiskey is made out of cereal grains.
Out of cereal grains.
There you go.
The very first example they have is straight bourbon whiskey is a specific type of class whiskey.
Corn.
51%. So, and if you don't believe us,
51.
Links are in the description. We also have one from Cornell, which describes bourbon whiskey is whiskey produced at not exceeding 160 proof from a fermented mash of not less than 51% corn.
I got it.
And stored in new charred oak barrels at not more than 125 proof. So bourbon is whiskey. Bourbon has always been whiskey. It's just a specific type.
It's a brown liquor.
Yeah. Also,
which I love.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
No minimum age requirement for bourbon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who knew that, Mr. Know-It-All?
Me.
Okay.
Not that I'm pompous or anything. But yeah, no minimum age statement. The only time you have to have a minimum is if you want to call it straight. So you'll notice this is labeled as a straight whiskey, and it has an age statement of 2 years. This is labeled as a straight whiskey, but it's older than 4 years, so it doesn't need an age statement. Right?
Got it.
Now these two, on the other hand, are both labeled as just bourbon whiskey. Although, from what I hear about Boone's Bourbon, it is actually 5 years old. So I'm not sure why they didn't put straight on the label. If you look at the label for Boone's Bourbon, and I'm going to throw a picture up right now, it just says American Bourbon Whiskey.
It could be a straight bourbon whiskey.
It could be a straight. As far as I know, they could have called it a straight bourbon whiskey. But I don't know why. Anyhow, what we're going to do, we're going to do a blind tasting. Yeah.
I'll poke both my eyes out with this pencil.
Yeah, right. So we're going to speed this part up because we don't want to have you guys just sit here looking at us taking notes.
Be any more annoyed than you already are.
Right. So I'm going to pour these into the Glencairns. We're going to compare Ironroot Harbinger against Boone's Bourbon. We did this because Ironroot is coming in at 57.5% alcohol. Boone's is coming at 58.5% alcohol.
Roughly the same.
Roughly the same. Now, there are a little difference in age, but...
And this one's the Texas brand.
This is Texas.
That's done in heat.
Yeah, so this is younger, but it's been done in higher heat. Okay. So we should be comparable to an older one done with the Terra Pure technology. Right?
Right.
And then these two, we got Makers. Very, very standard bourbon whiskey. And that's going up against Winchester Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
Just a wee baby.
Wee baby. I was going to buy the full bottle, but then I found the minis, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this that much. Right. So let's find out.
Let's not jump in.
But so these two are going up against each other because they're approximately the same alcohol by volume. What is it? 45 and 45, I believe. And they're almost the same age. They're both straight bourbons. This one's slightly older, but this one had the Terra Pure on it. So hopefully better. It tastes more like an older whiskey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't wait to start.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So I'm going to pour. He's going to leave the room. I'm gonna pour, and then he is gonna put them in little cozies and mix them up, so I don't know which one's which, and then he won't know which one's which. So, cool.
Hi, I'm back. Did you miss me?
Yeah, yeah.
No, not at all.
No, they didn't, because they saw our high-speed antics.
Hey, hi. What? Sorry about that.
It was probably a lot of us just sitting there sniffing the glass over and over.
And pretending we knew what was what. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want to compare our tasting notes real quick? Okay. So these are all numbered on the bottom right now, but so these all each have a number on them, but we don't really know which is which anymore. So for the low alcohol ones,
3, 4, or 3
and 4. So we did left and right, right? Or your right, our left, but this is our left one.
Number 3.
So for my left, I said it was sweet corn. Tasted. It had a little farmyard hay-like kind of smell, kind of an oily sweetness.
Okay.
It wasn't very spicy.
Right.
And it had just a touch of the wood tang.
I had the corn sweetness.
Okay.
I had maple-esque. Kind of there was a sweeter note in there that's I thought it was kind of a cakey frosting kind of thing, but it was more like a maple. So kind of a woody taste. That was kind of cool. It was a little sharp. It seemed a little younger.
Yeah.
Touchscreen.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, anyway.
But yeah, on the taste, I thought that one was super fruity. Super ridiculously fruity. Like a popsicle almost. And had quite a bit of burn to it.
Yeah.
A lot of alcohol burn. Because we know these have to be 45%. I was surprised by how much that one burned. And then on the right, what did you think about the right one?
Touch of corn. Sure. Lighter notes of said corn.
Yeah.
I had the kind of fruity, cakey. I found it to be kind of a flat nose.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't overpowering any one thing that's stuck out.
Yeah.
When I tasted it though, I said it dances on the tongue with wood notes and other flavors, but they weren't cohesive.
Okay.
It was like popcorn.
Yeah.
Just all over my tongue.
Okay.
So
cool. So for me, I thought the right one was much spicier than the left. Caramel, butterscotch, coconut on the nose. Like, I liked the nose on that one. The nose was good. Sure. It was really buttery. Like, there was butter, a little bit of pepper, lots more oak, tons of oak. Not as big a flavor though. Not as big on the taste as it was on the nose, or even compared to this one. The taste was, I didn't think it was quite as like voluptuous.
Right. No, the number 4, this one.
Yeah, or number. Let's call it the right.
The right one, not the one over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flavor wasn't cohesive, and this one, the one on your right, was more of a blend overall.
Yeah.
Satisfying overall.
Yeah. I think this one played a little nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one had more of those dark notes, but the taste didn't play quite as nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to give it to 3.
You're going to give it to, or the left one? This one?
That one.
Okay.
Which I call, left one.
I'm torn because I like the nose on this one a lot, but the taste on this one is so much better. I think I'm going to give it to the left one because it tastes a little bit more like Irish whiskey to me.
Okay.
And I like that.
Yeah. And the finish was a little better.
So, left one, I think, is going to take it. So
I found it a touchscreen though.
It's a touchscreen, maybe. But yeah, I liked the taste a lot. So, want to find out what it is?
Yeah, let's find out what it is. Number 3, the winner is number
3. Winchester!
Wow, I'm surprised. That's awesome.
Winchester beat out Maker's Mark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you have it.
So that's cool.
Okay. Moving on.
Now I will say, if you're looking for a straight up really bourbon, I would probably take Maker's Mark. But for my taste, as an Irish whiskey drinker,
Okay.
I'd probably go for Winchester.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, let's talk high alcohol. So our two big boys, 57 and 58.5%.
Okay.
All right, so leftmost over here.
That was number 1 for me. Yeah,
Yep.
I marked it left.
Okay. So for me, I thought this was like dark molasses, really heavy corn, sweet, kind of had a cherry Dr. Pepper kind of thing going on, which I know last time Tyler got mad at us because we said his tasted like fruit. That's a common thing in bourbon. Like esters, that's a thing. Like it doesn't just taste like spicy grain. Like, and yeah, I thought it was really woody, pretty spicy. Kind of had almost like it was like a lumberyard a little bit because it was very woody. Yeah.
It's kind of what I said. I said shop class.
Yeah.
Kind of like being in shop class. I found the alcohol not to be overpowering.
No.
I thought that was kind of light, which was interesting for a 57.
57 or 58.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Whichever it was.
it was pretty. It did not burn you.
I said well blended, combined well. I found it kind of bread-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that's fair.
Kind of an oatmeal bready kind of thing in there.
Yeah.
Once I tasted it, there was the bite of alcohol, which was fun.
Yeah. It was the alcohol bite on this really melded well.
Yeah.
Like I think if you, because an alcohol bite can meld well with the flavors,
Right.
And it can
enhance the flavor.
enhance the flavors. The right one, didn't like.
Yeah.
Gotta say, it was.
I had a little oak. What does that say? Oh, kind of a citrus nose. A little bit of.
I could agree with that.
Citrus on there. Touch of diesel.
Yep.
Oaky notes a touch. A marmalade hint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And a sour finish.
Yeah.
That did not last.
Oh yeah,
which was good.
The finish was very short. I agree with you. And I got, sour. It is way sour. It was like the nose was sickly sweet, but then it smelled like really sour wood, like sweet and sour sauce almost. But not quite as well balanced. And it did have that kind of weird mapley diesel smell you get from a lot of cheap Canadian whiskeys. That's what I thought.
That's why we don't buy cheap Canadian whiskeys.
That's why we don't buy cheap Canadian whiskeys. No offense to Canada. We've got some good videos coming up for you. Don't worry.
Eventually.
So let's find out.
So number one,
or the leftmost one for
Left
us,
one.
was our winner. Which was...
Number one.
Ironroot.
Hey!
Yeah.
And that would be... Number one. No.
Yeah.
Number two.
It's not terrible.
Not that we don't like it. I mean...
Compared to this.
We would prefer drinking that.
Yeah. Now,
although, given that versus McCarthy's...
Oh, yeah.
McCarthy's.
Yeah. But I will say, this was not terrible. This is not undrinkable. I could see people liking this.
Oh, sure. Depending on what you're doing, what you're eating, what you're... Yeah.
Yeah, this is drinkable. Yeah. I don't think it's good, personally.
I think maybe they tweaked the process a little, add some flavor.
That's the thing. Craft distilling, you have to blend. You don't have very many barrels to blend from.
Right.
So, like, if you do another batch of this, figure it out a little better, get a slightly different flavor profile, this could be great. It very well could be. This iteration, not for us.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But, but what we did find out is that we don't hate the TerraPure process.
No, and that surprises me.
I will say, it didn't seem to have the really low dark notes.
Okay.
Like the really heavy dark molassesy dark sugar notes.
Right.
That you might expect from bourbon. But I think that's okay by me. I don't know. It makes me wonder, what other congeners are they pulling out when they do the process? But as far as I care, that was perfectly fine. That was, yeah. Beat out makers. So
surprise.
I know, right?
Yeah. So, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Fun chemistry with whiskey.
Yeah.
So, keep doing what you're doing. Hit upon a perfect blend of chemistry and science, and hopefully we get something that, you can get in 6 days. It's...
Yeah. I mean, I don't think
we should... like 15 years old.
We shouldn't discourage anybody from trying to innovate.
No.
I mean... but we are going to tell the truth about what we think about your product.
I mean, if I can take this intravenously, hey!
Anyhow, that has been the record review. I'm betting this
another worst whiskey watch Wednesday.
Well, I don't even know if I'm going to call this one a worst whiskey watch. This is kind of its own
that's
thing.
True, yeah.
But this episode definitely ran long. So if you made it to the end of the video, thank you. And more information will be coming on these lovely T-shirts we're wearing. So stay tuned for that. And until next time,
hey, all of you, stay rotten.
Stay rotten.